Thank you so much for watching Riff TV. Now, this interview is obviously with video, but I don't interview everybody on Zoom. That's why I put it on my Talkin Rock with Meltdown podcast. We talk to rock artists from all over the genre. So check out Talkin Rock with Meltdown wherever you get your podcasts. And now to today's video interview. Yeah, Steve, in Detroit Rock City, I saw you last year with, was it last year or the year before with Tom Kiefer? And man, you and your band sounded awesome. Really,
Thanks.
yeah, really good.
Yeah, thank you. It's getting tighter and tighter. There's one thing about me doing my solo besides there not being a rat, right? I get to play anything from the catalog. There's no problems with picking songs, the set list, and I can play a Zepp tune, a Priest song. So I'm having a good time out there.
Yeah, that's
and yeah, and we just got Will Hunt, a new drummer, stepping in. He's from Evanescence, that band.
Oh yeah, you were here with Slaughter last year. That's right. And so Will was there too. Or well, no, was Will there? Now I can't remember. Anyhow,
I think so.
Yeah. Great show, boy. The band sounded good. That's funny you mentioned that. So when you were with Rat, was there ever a problem picking the songs?
Every fucking day. That was not the highlight of each evening, because even though we had a set, we actually didn't like playing the same set every night, so we would do a song here, a song there, but like I say with my solo band, I mean, even early I'm doing this interview, the guy's talking about giving yourself away. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be putting that song in the set now, that wonderful ballad that we never gave you.
Yeah, that's right. No ballads, that's for sure. By the way, don't be jealous. I'm here in Detroit. I know you were down in the Bahamas or wherever, the Caribbean, or wherever you were with Monsters of Rock. How'd that go?
That was great. That was, I've done them before, but this was by far a better experience. I played the theater indoors and I did the outdoor gig, and there was no rain out. Some bands got rained out, which would suck. I mean, you're there to play and you get rained out, but it was a great event. Great event.
Yeah, that's a perfect time for me to take vacation down there. I should think about doing that one of these days. Was my friend Harlan Hendrickson on the ship with you guys?
Who's Harlan? Sounds familiar.
All right, never mind. I thought he was with the Monsters of Rock. But anyways, let's talk about this Rat record here. You got Rat's classic albums compiled in the Atlantic years. Now, I need a new one because this is mine from 40 years ago. I think my animals may have gotten to it here and there, but yeah, that's from when I was a kid. But tell us about this box set release.
Well, I'm excited about it. I don't think the label knew it was the 40th year anniversary, from the EP, which I'll end up giving you later in the year on vinyl, of course, limited. But I didn't think they even knew it was 40 years. It's like fucking 40 years later, whoa. It will be for the stellar 40 years, but it's great. And I keep saying, it's probably the only Rat reunion you're going to get this year, is because everybody had something to do with this box set. I don't know why, giving them photos and this and a pics and that, so it's kind of funny,
So everybody did get involved in this then, eh?
Yeah, they did. Yep. And I did Robin's share, I stepped up for Robin, of course.
Yeah. I was going to say, was it like herding cats?
Close. Yeah, everybody kind of, and then, I'm looking at the final thing going, well, I know where that came from, or I know where this came from. So it's funny and ironic at the same time, but it's amazing. I mean, this thing's got this amazing poster, pick, passes. It's got a Nobody Rides for Free vinyl single LP. So we gave you everything but the kitchen sink,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Nobody Rides for Free. That was Point Break, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. Yeah. Cantor, Steve Cantor, and Rat. Yeah.
No, this box set looks amazing, and of course the 5 records. If you had to pick one record out of there to like kind of epitomize what Rat was all about in the day, could you do that?
Sure, Out of the Cellar.
Out of the Cellar, okay.
I mean, the band was together, the original guys, probably about a year, before we got signed. And besides being one of the last bands in Hollywood to be signed, go figure, we're selling everything out, and we sold 80 to 100,000 EPs, and but once we got our foot in that door, believe me, it was like, well, if Atlantic is good enough for Led Zeppelin and the Stones, it's good enough for Rat, and I think we're going to be very happy. So we were for a while.
Yeah, so this is coming out on Rhino Records, if I'm not mistaken, right? Does Atlantic?
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah, be Atlantic BMG.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I got you. All right.
yeah.
Yeah, and so you got the 5 records, and like you mentioned, all the stuff. Just the 5 studio albums. This is like the perfect gift for anybody who's a gigantic Rat fan. And it's funny you mentioned 40 years because I think I've told you about this before, but I can't recall. Round and Round was the first video I ever remember seeing on TV.
Oh my God, that's funny. We actually, Christy and myself, we were on the ship. They had this rock station going on 24/7, right? It was a loop. And they had bands from the 80s. Like, where the fuck did they come from? They're probably getting played more now than they did then. Fortunately and unfortunately, they got the timing ass backwards, but uh, they were showing MTV when it first fucking started. Like, literally, the first video, which is,
Yeah, video star.
exactly. The second one is
Oh, the
Pat,
second one, I don't know.
Pat Benatar.
Okay.
And so here we're watching this thing, and it's kind of ironic because it would end up being so important for everybody in the 80s. I mean, it became old standard around 86, 87. We gotta make a video, and whoop-de-doo. Well, back then, it was like brand new. It was like, whoa, 1984 for us. It was like, what? We gotta act now? We gotta become actors. Okay, let's trip out on this shit. But it was funny to see that whole incarnation of MTV, and it did play an important role for a lot of us 80s artists, early 80s artists, so to speak.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny because we're almost kind of in the same era as we were before. So you got the videos. Now bands are continuing to make videos again, and you got like the Rip and the Hit Parader, but it's online sources now. It seems like, huh?
Sure, and yeah, I know both. Yeah, right. And it's kind of 360, but with the new technology, so to speak. But there's nothing like that good old rock rags back in the day.
Right.
The Japan had it down, man. Everything was all glossy and perfect, but it was important too. Those magazines, Faces, Hip Parader, oh God, Circus, the Rip, you name them. They were important,
Yeah, Metal Edge, Cream, stuff like that.
Exactly. Metal Edge, Cream, yeah.
Yeah, because I was a kid, and it's like, did you ever do interviews with those back in the day, and then see them like a month later, and they took something you said out of context or whatever the case was?
Yeah. Well, of course, or you would put your foot in your mouth. Yeah, of course, yeah, yeah.
Well, even nowadays, Bobby came out and said recently that Rat crushed Motley Crue. When you see that, do you think to yourself, what do you? Do you agree with them? Do you say just stop?
You said exactly what I thought. What are you saying? Yeah, Bob tends to be a little outspoken, and he hasn't been doing interviews, I don't think. But there are a couple things I can't agree with him on. I mean, we had no competition. I mean, fuck, man, nobody crushed nobody, and As far as I'm concerned, or I can speak for Robin too, we didn't give a shit about anybody. We were doing our thing, and that's what we were doing, and just go fuck off. Uh, but you know, in Bo Hill, I talked to Bo, our producer, all the time. So unfortunately, he spoke for everybody, and that's not true. You know, so that's where that is. And a reunion, you know, I wish him luck because it ain't gonna happen. And I don't think it's even plausible or even possible. It's just wow. You know, I've tried, and you know, I'm not gonna, you know, put out anything to give anybody any hope. Not that they would give a shit, but I mean, I would love to see the band do another record with Bo Hill. You know, but then on the same token, there's no Robin. So what's the fucking point? You know, he was a very important part of this band, you know, in every element. And, you know, I know for a fact he'd be kicking some ass right now about some other things, but, you know, without Robin, it's just, I just don't see it. We stuck around long enough, you know, maybe that was just our term, that box set. And that's what I love about this box set. That's the real shit. You know, it's the 5 original guys. We did our best on those 5 records, and we're happy. They keep giving us platinum albums, and I ain't fucking complaining. You know, I think it's a good day in paradise.
And plus, like you kind of alluded to before, it's like you seem to be just fine on your own, doing your own thing.
Oh yeah, and I have a, you know, the voice of whatever. I started the band. I wrote songs, you know, co-wrote the songs, and so I just see it as like I'm a different type of guy than my own band. I think Bobby is close, that he wants to go out and play, and we're RATT, and that's fucking way cool. But it's very volatile. It's very dangerous ground. We might be just creating this another implosion, and I don't think that would be good for anybody.
I got
Yeah.
you, especially at this time of your life and this time of your career. And that you
Yeah.
just mentioned way cool. When I told my listeners today I was going to be talking to you, one of them said, "Who is Way Cool Junior about?" They want to know the specific answer. Is it about anybody?
No, it's just about a way cool guy. You know, there is a little trivia in that when the video was being made, they didn't even want the band around because there were so many girls. So they were like, keep them away. And, you know, we kind of sketched it to be about this, just a cool guy, a cool cat, you know. Uh, so that's where that lies. That song came up earlier in an interview. I love that song. That's Warren, you know, maturing as a guitarist, you know, and you know when he's like whipping out Dirty Job and Way Cool Junior. That's something that I think only RATT could do. That kind of style of music per se. I don't know what kind of style of music it is, you know, whatever you call it, but good song, good song. Still goes over very well,
Yeah, I
you
was
know.
gonna say it's a touch scatty, isn't it? I'm not a songwriter, but when you just kind of put it like that.
Yeah, of course, sure. And it's loose, you know, it's a loosely tight song, you know, it's got a great groove. You know, that's something I learned from Zeppelin, and, you know, listening to them so much, the diversity, you know, ebb and flow, and not just bam, 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 you know, take a break, you know. Is there something else? Oh, yeah, we got this, another side of us. And that's one thing special about the band is only we could have done uh, that kind of those kinds of songs and gotten away with it. I don't think no put down on Motley, but I don't think you get a Way Cool out of a Motley or a Wasp or you know, any other front runners from the '80s strip. You know. So I'll take that.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned Wasp because while I was waiting for you to get on the call here, Blackie just posted about all sorts of dates. Have you seen Blackie tour?
No, I just played with Chris Holmes, Mean Man there at on the ship, and that was cool. But no, I haven't. I'd like to see it. I still dig that band. We used to hang a lot too back in the day in the strip days. Just wasn't the Gladiators, Motley and Rat. I mean, Blackie and Chris. I mean, we all hung out, together. So yeah.
No,
I'd love to. They're doing great. They're doing great, and that's good. It just shows you the sign of the times. How important the '80s scene was. It just wasn't a flash in the pan. Nobody killed, hair metal or whatever you want to fucking call it. I don't care. If it pays the bills, but you know, I'm getting that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, no, that Wasp show last year I saw in the fall, and it was fantastic for anybody that gets a chance to go out and see that. Someone also said the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was they just talked about their nominees the other day, and it's like Kate Bush. It's like I grew up in the '80s. I don't even remember Kate Bush. I don't even know who that is, and it's like
Kate Bush. Yeah, I know she's Kate Bush. You know what? It's all politics, man, and that's way that's the worst thing about the Hall of Fame. It's like, well, how many times? Sorry, Dave Grohl, but how many times can Dave be the ambassador or the awarded for? I mean, there's so many musicians from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and not just they don't give a shit about us 80s groups at all. The Hollywood thing, they don't give a shit. You're not going to see Motley up there anytime soon, or Rat. We're lucky enough to see Van Halen get in. Scorpions, are they in? Priest?
So. No, Priest.
Miles. Dude, that was a milestone having Judas Priest in it. They had to break. They didn't have a choice.
Well, I thought they kind of gave them like a participation trophy. Are they? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's fucking, you hit it right on the head right there. Totally. They had to. I mean, it's overwhelming. It's like, you've given everybody else this award, and even guys in the band. It's like the Police have one, and then Stink has one, and then, it's like, break it down. The group or the guy. What is this? Does he need two of them?
It is weird you say that because no, Ozzy doesn't. Ozzy's not in it by himself.
And that's, well, at least Sabbath is in there.
Right.
Inevitably, they have to, throw us a bone. I mean, we made, our genre of music in the 80s made billions of dollars for the music industry. Billions. And what do we get for it? Oh, it ain't cool. You're not cheesy enough or cheeky enough or whatever the fuck, it's like, well, fuck you. I have awards in my office that mean more to me than having a Grammy or something, because it's from the hardcore fans. It's from the heart. It's not a political, hey, fill out this ballot and we'll change it on the day. Kind of like the presidency. That mess, but that's politics. We say that's another thing about Rat. We always stayed out of politics and religion. And thank you.
And you're welcome. Well, the box set comes out, the Atlantic Years, that's coming up on June 9th, and it's got all 5 of the records. And like you said before, the singles, the tours, it's got so much stuff here. Posters. I could just go.
Yeah, it's got the pick, a tour book. I don't even know what's in there. I just look at it. I'm expecting it any day. I just want to hold it. Okay, this is cool.
Oh, you haven't seen the final product yet?
No. We helped obviously put it together, and the art directing I did. But yeah, soon enough. Matter of fact, I might have to make a phone call right after this.
All right, tell him your friend Meltdown in Detroit at WRIF wants one. So, anyways, but hey, listen, Steven, thank you so much, man.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm out on the road with my 1980 Sunset Strip experience for the next year or two. Then we'll see what happens. Other stuff going down that are going to be way cool. People will dig. I'm embracing this and taking it to where it should be. I'm out on the road. You can go to officialstephenpearcy.com, see the dates. Way cool stuff there, kids. But the box set, get it. It's way cool. And there's, this is actually the first time we've really ever put out a box set like this. We've had greatest hits, this set, that. But this is pretty much as our banner, the RATT. The 5 of us on that 5 records,
Yeah, this is the collection you want. And by the way, I got to give props to whoever takes care of your website, because there's a lot of bands out there that don't take care of their website like yours. Yours is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, well, that's Christy doing what she does. She works pretty aggressively, and it's nice to have a partner in business also, and yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'll tell her. She'll love that. She'll love that.
Stephen, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Keep in touch.